Hello everyone and welcome to the next tutorial session. In this tutorial session we're going to be covering a basic vibration project using SvanNET automatic monitoring services and our 258s. So the SV258 sound and vibration monitoring system. And in this video we're going to be doing everything from scratch. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. We're choosing our project here, the demo project 2 with two SV258s. And in order to enter that project, we start with view. So in the view, we currently hold only one panel. Now the first step for you to start obtaining data into your automatic monitoring services project is to activate the automatic download function. You find that tab right here in the right hand menu, automatic download. Why do we have to do that? Well, as you know, anything that is shown in the automatic monitoring services in this tab here is data that has been downloaded from the station. So the station acquires data, vibration or noise, dust, meteo data, you name it. It acquires it, stores it on its internal memory, whether that is an SD card or internal RAM, and then using the modem it has been equipped with, it sends that data to SvanNET. The data that you can see here in this demo project 2 is data that has been sent from the station to the project. In order for that to work, this must be on. So it's off now, it must be on. Now the download period should be set to something arbitrary. We have it as continuous now. We recommend to set it at something else than continuous, so perhaps 1 minute interval. This means that each minute SvanNET will access the station's file, so the files that are being stored on the SD card, and it's gonna ask, do you have any new files? And if the answer is yes, it's gonna download those files. It's gonna happen every minute. So that means that every single minute we're gonna have new files on this project under the condition that we're actually recording. Now then you define the file types, so what kind of files you want to be downloading, whether logger files, WAV files, CSV files, if your station can write those, result files. And you can also define a file upload destination. So if you would like to define an FTP server that you straight away send those files to, you can do that here. We'll go through that in detail in another video about FTP and API. You can define alarms, so alarms that are being triggered every time a file is downloaded. How that works is that you download a file, that file has a certain data in it, let's say noise data, right? And you define an alarm for that noise data. Let's see, let's do that. For example, right now we have noise, time history. We want to look at the LAQ from the first channel, from the first profile, and we set the threshold to 75 dB. When that happens, we assign one of the stations. When that happens, we want to have an SMS or email action, so we put that in here. We're not gonna do that now, but you can create that. You can rename your alarm, noise, and then you can set your SMS, you can set your email, and it's gonna warn you every time it downloads data with a level that exceeds 75 dB. Now we also have alarms in station that are triggered straight away. These alarms are triggered when data is being downloaded. Now you might ask, why would we have two different types of alarms? Well, it is because you can actually set something as multi-point alarms. So you can set for more than one measurement point, so that an event is triggered only when station number 1 and station number 2 has reached a certain threshold. This is very useful for vibration. For example, if you have one project with 5 vibration sensors, you can then set a certain alarm value to trigger an SMS email alarm only when all 4 stations have reached a certain, let's say, peak level. So I hope that makes sense. And obviously something that is very important when you're dealing with 258s is the next one, scheduled memory clearing. So scheduled memory clearing defines how often the memory, internal memory of the instrument should be cleared. Note that SvanNET will only delete files that it has backed up on the cloud. And this is great because in this way you can have a permanent system almost. The system is acquiring data onto its own memory, then uploading that data onto SvanNET, and then SvanNET checks off, do I have the full file from this day, do I have the full file from this day, do I have the full file from this day? And if it does, you can set, for example, for this to be cleared every day at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you want to clear all these files. You can also define that weekly, monthly, or hourly basis. And of course, as always, when you are finished with the setup, you've confirmed that the time zone is correctly set, you just hit apply changes. Another cool thing that you can do that I can just cover real quick here is that you can set an automatic clearing of the SvanNET file. So as we said, the station is acquiring data. That data is being pushed to the cloud. This setting here clears the data from the station's memory while the data is saved on the cloud. Now, with the different SvanNET automatic monitoring services subscription plans, you have a certain amount of data storage on the cloud, like you would have for any cloud solution like Google Drive or whatever. So if you want, you can also here set the ability to clear files that are, for example, one or more than 1 month old, and only when account storage is filled in 90%, let's say. This means that if you have files that you downloaded from the station 1 month ago, so they are more than 1 month old, and your storage account is filled to 90%, and we're talking the cloud storage now, SvanNET will automatically delete this. Now, you need to be aware that this is permanent. So once deleted, these files are gone. So use this setting with caution, but make sure that you always have storage in your account. This is described and will be described by your distributor, or you can contact us if you're unsure what kind of storage you have. So remember to hit apply changes when you have done all of these things and you're good to go. This is the first step of setting up the project, ensuring that the automatic download is on and correctly configured. Now, when working with the 258s, it is extra important to have set these clearing settings to ensure that your memory stick, your memory card on the 258, the memory you have there, is always available for writing, because if it's full, the measurement stops. So this is very important to set it up correctly, and if you do, you have nothing to worry about. So in a previous video, when we were talking about noise projects, we went through some other features. We're gonna skip that now and go back to view. So as I mentioned before, in the view, we have a completely empty project, right? So we have just created this project. It's completely empty. There's nothing here. Now it's time for us to create the project of our dreams. And in this video, let's assume that the end game here is a report. All right, we want to generate a report of noise vibration monitoring for a certain period of time. So currently we only have the project description bar open. Yeah, we have our project name, our project location, some information here. We have our old photo here. This is a demo project, it doesn't really exist, but let's assume we're in New York, right? So we define our project view in a way that that corresponds to the view of the report. So if the end game here is the report, we want our view to correspond to that. So what is the first step here? Well, as you might have guessed, if you watched the previous videos, it is going to these gearboxes here and clicking on that. Now here we have three, let's call it modules. We have the templates modules, active measurement points, and configure panels. You can start with the active measurement points. Here define which station you want to include into the project. So if you have more than one station in the project, you might want to exclude one of them in that report. In this case, we're gonna keep them both. They have the configure panels. This is going to be a key part, or we're gonna get back to that in a sec. And here we have the templates with the possibility of edit mode. So if we would have a template from a previous project, or perhaps the template that a distributor or somebody here at SVANTEK sent to you, you can just go ahead and upload that template, and straight away your project will be viewed in a way that you would expect it to be viewed at. But at this stage, we're gonna assume that we are building a project from scratch. So we're going to configure panels. Now here are 4 panels that out of which only one is on right now. You cannot delete those panels. You can delete all the other panels, but not these panels. You can simply turn them off. Well, I would like to have a map, so I'm gonna go ahead and click here to activate that, and voila, straight away I have maps. I want to have live data, and I'm gonna cover that in a sec when we exit this view. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. I want that to be over configuration data, or configuration info. Straight away you see that we actually are getting a stream of live data. I like that. What I want to have as the next panel is a chart over the last week. So here we have the default or sort of global setting time range. Well, I want to have a chart. I'm gonna call it station 1 chart. And I'm gonna hit add here. Then I want to have another chart. Well, let's just go back here for a second, and then we're gonna do the cosmetics after that. I want to have a station 2 chart as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and add that, and go back here again. Station 2 chart, nice. All right, I want to have events chart. All right, so I want to have events. So I go in the panel type, I go down here and choose events. This is what I want to have. So, and we're gonna cover a little bit of that in a sec, what that is. And finally, I want to have a text bar because I want to write something in my report. So I'm gonna add that in the bottom. And then, yes, report. We're gonna go ahead and call that report. And it's right here. And then we're just gonna go to that at a later time, and we're actually gonna turn on the configuration info to show that to you. All right, so we have configured all the panels. We have our last week as the default time range, and let's just assume we want to generate these reports at a weekly basis. So that is the range we're gonna keep it at. Sorry. So starting over from scratch, then we have our project description as we had before. We now have the map. If this map is suitable for you, or if you like to make it bigger, perhaps you like to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag it out like this. Maybe go out from the edit mode, zoom in a little bit. I want to have this close. I want people to really know where the stations are. Then we have the live data panel. The live data panel can be configured here. I want to have that a little bit more precise. And actually, if I would have pictures of these stations, I could upload them here as well. So I can see here that we're sort of running out of memory here, but since we have the automatic clearing mode set up, we're good. I don't want to watch at a peak. I want to have the RMS of channel 2 for some reason, right? So I'm gonna have that, and then this one is set up with the AG, so it has a little bit different filters. So I want to have the RMS of channel 2 on both of these, one with the high pass filter and one with the WK filter, both at 1 sec. So we have a nice view of live data here if we would have gone in there, but our main job for today is, as we described, to define and create a report. So down here in the charts, we need to make it true, right? We're saying that this is going to be only for station 1, so let's call it measurement point 1 here. We see that this is the station with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the serial number. So I'm gonna go ahead and define now which station I want to be looking at. So I go here in the triple dot view, and I take away this station 2, because for this I only want to have station 1. Actually, this has happened here as well. Yeah, measurement point off, And yeah, just to make sure it's off. Here we have measurement 0.2, so we do not want that. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove that chart. Yes, and here again MP2. We're gonna go ahead and remove that. And obviously you could just leave it because we're just doing the double work, but I just want to show you how you have full control here. So again, I'm gonna remove the dominant frequency markings of the measurement 0.2. I see that I have measurement point, or actually I shouldn't have done that because this is measurement 0.2. So I'm gonna keep the measurement. I'm gonna turn this one off, this one off, and we're gonna put that for the PPV here. See that load, perfect. We are MP1, we do not want that. We want the peak here. So we go here to the time history, we go to peaks. All right, turn off measurement 0.1 here. We do not want to see that. Apply, etc, etc. Same here, LAQ, LF max for measurement 0.1. Not for us, so we're gonna go ahead and turn that off again. Yeah, and apply. That is loading, very responsive. So MP2, MP2, and then these two charts here, we're gonna remove them. And obviously we did kind of unnecessary work here, but you know, you're the boss, you choose what you want to have and how you want to show it. Then we follow, and of course you can define whatever kind of records you want to be showing here. Obviously in this case we're both measuring vibration and noise. So you can see here we could change it to noise suddenly with LAQ. That is what the 958 allows you to do in a 258 setup. You can both have a free actual vibration level and a class 1 noise measurement. And yeah, and then we go to the event view. Now the event view here is pretty neat. So we have had 4 types of event within the selected period of time that we selected, and maybe we want to show all of them. So we're just gonna go ahead and click here for all of them. That's gonna first create a sort of selected event view right here. Oopsie, so there we go. So selected event view right here, we can see that we are measuring in accordance to the DIN 4150 standard, and that is going to be triggered on a certain level. Here all the triggers were made in the z-axis, the z-axis, yeah, so upwards most likely, and we can then go here. What happened at 1 o'clock at the 13th? Well, here we go. We had a dominant frequency like this. This is time history. This is the waveform, so the time signal in wave format, so the raw sort of signal. And you can see here at Z, yes, the amplitude is the highest, the FFT is like this, and whatever. So we had 4 occurrences that extended that were too big. So perhaps we want to talk a little bit about that. So we go here and we write during the last week we had 4 occurrences of exceeding the set threshold. This is not good, or something. You're the boss, yeah. So save that. That is your report. You include the configuration data. You want all of that. So now we take a quick peek on all of this again, and we think, all right, this is sufficient, this is good. So we're ready to generate a report. We just click here on this arrow right here, click PDF or doc, whether you want to have a Word file or PDF file, and you wait for the report to jump in. The report is downloadable right here. We'll open that up, and you have the exact same view minus the live data. Obviously it doesn't make sense to have live data in report as it is a file. And you have your station 1 chart, station 2 chart, you have your events, you have those events in detail for each page, you have your report part, you have your configuration info part, and you do as you choose with this, whether you want to print it, send it to somebody. You're now in full control. So this was a little bit about how to set up your basic vibration project. Obviously this is about the automatic monitoring services, so we are working from the assumption that you have already set up the station. You have done the configuration of 258, you have created the settings and set everything up as you would like to, and then you feed that data into the automatic monitoring services. And this video was supposed and hopefully did show you what you can do with that data, how you can change it, how you can present it, and how you can create a very convenient PDF report as an end result. So thank you very much for tuning in, and stay tuned for more videos on the matter. Thank you.